Stocks, docks and barrels. This morning's Big Business Recap.
Well, I hope everyone pulled into the petrol station on their way home from work yesterday, because if you haven't heard, well, here it is. UAE petrol prices starting today will witness, or definitely is witnessing, a big hike. And this hike is due to the increase in line with the rise in global oil prices. So here it is. The new prices have been announced. So as of today, Super 98 will be 2.12 dirhams per liter. That's increasing by 11% on the current price, or on yesterday's price of 1.91 dirhams. Special 95 will cost you 2.01 per liter at the pump. That's an increase of 11.7% on February's price of 1.80 dirhams. Diesel will come in at 2.15 per liter. That's up 7% from 2.01 dirhams also in February.
Yeah, it's very sad. I had to join the queues later on in the evening, and I saw loads of people, in fact, who were joining the queues. And around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. you could see long queues forming at the petrol stations because people tried to make the most of the cheaper prices of oil. So I did some calculation. I normally fill in about 100 dirhams on my whichever vehicle that I'm driving that day. For 100 dirhams, I got 55 litres. So that's okay. But then now with the new prices, that same amount of fuel is now going to cost me
less than 50 probably, right? If you're going to go for 100 dirhams, it's going to get you less than 50 liters probably?
No. A little bit maybe.
Yeah.
All depends. But then now, if I want to get the same amount of fuel, I'll end up paying 111 dirhams. So that's how it works. So you're 11 dirhams. There is a bit of an increase now to get the same amount of fuel. So yeah, maybe for 100 dirhams you might get not even 50 litres. So that's the plan. That's what the plan is now. It's going to affect your billing. It's going to affect. You'd think at first glance, thinking, 11 dirhams is not going to add much, but then it does play its part. Don't worry about that. Now for the companies, it's going to be a lot more. If you think about that, cost for companies to operate and the cost for companies to be transporting their employees, transporting their goods and services. So all of this does add up. So that's what's going to happen. But why is it happening? The reason is because throughout the pandemic, oil prices were down, averaging around $30 a barrel, $40. Yeah. Now, as of this morning, we're touching $65.50 for Brent crude.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's a big jump. Now, what we're looking also at is March 4, because that's the meeting when OPEC Plus coalition is going to be meeting. Our world is expecting that the global markets need some more barrels of oil, and they'll be hoping that the OPEC Plus coalition led by Saudi Arabia and Russia will increase production.
Certainly, Abdul Karim. Now, there was when it comes to crude oil, there was a glut in the supply that piled up during the pandemic, but analysts say that is vanishing pretty quickly, with global inventories plunging at the steepest rates in 2 decades, according to Morgan Stanley, and prices rallying to pre-virus levels. So there's a need for more oil supply at the moment, and the question is just how much will OPEC Plus increase the oil supply? Some questions as to how vigorously it will act. Saudi Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, ahead of the meeting, urged fellow producers to remain, quote, extremely cautious. And that's the situation at the moment, how that is going to go. But OPEC Plus and its allies had rescued the global oil industry from an unprecedented slump last year by slashing production when the coronavirus crisis pummeled demand. And OPEC Plus continues to suppress just over 7 million barrels of daily output, just about 7% of the global supply. And they're going to decide on March 4th just by how much to increase that supply. And looking at the state of global oil markets, they look pretty ready to absorb that increase in production. We've been seeing, for instance, demand in China, which is the world's biggest oil importer, being back above pre-virus levels, as China's containment of the disease allows much of normal life and economic activity to resume. Looking at India, it's another key consumer, warns that high prices are jeopardizing its economic recovery. And in the United States, stockpiles of crude oil and refined products are back near levels last seen years ago. And although demand for aviation fuels remains depressed, purchases of products that cater to working and consuming at home, like diesel for trucks and plastics, are on the rise. So the takeaway here is the global oil markets are ready for an increase in the oil supply, and that is the expectation ahead of the meeting. According to reports, they will raise the oil levels by as much as 500,000 per day starting in April.
Well, there are several good reasons for OPEC Plus to release more barrels. First, higher prices mean countries like Saudi Arabia that rely on oil to balance their budgets can bring in badly needed revenue. Second, if OPEC Plus doesn't start producing more, other countries will. That includes Texas, who have been it's been sidelined by the oil crash as of late. According to Bank of America strategists, they told clients in a recent note that OPEC Plus will preserve market share by pumping more soon. And during the second quarter alone, Bank of America actually expects OPEC Plus to add more than 1.3 million barrels per day of supply. There's another reason OPEC Plus will want to act before it's too late, and that's definitely self-preservation. If gas prices keep rising and hit, like, let's say, $3 a gallon and beyond, $3 a gallon and beyond, it will only accelerate clean energy investments and persuade more drivers to dump their gas-guzzling SUVs for electric vehicles. So that's another way to look at it as well.
Yeah, certainly, but we'll definitely keep an eye out on the prices of oil. The oil prices are at the highest levels that we've seen in a year, and it's at one side it's a good thing for sure. The other side, for the oil importers, it is a bit of, especially third world countries and developing nations, it's a bit of a toll. But on March the 4th, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because Russia is one of the countries of the OPEC Plus alliance that is keen on increasing production. Iraq, also another member that's always or often is eager on opening the taps, because what they do is when they do increase production, they get more money out of it, so it's always good for them. But other countries will be looking at it with a bit more of an eye on the balance sheet as well. But for us, we're going to be paying more for our fuel nowadays. Just got to prepare for that. Less of road trips, maybe. That could be an idea. But do get involved on the text lines 4215, how the prices of fuel are now going to impact you. Or are you not bothered? Do you think, 11 dirhams is okay? It's just, it's as much as buying some snacks and water from the petrol station, so it's okay. So do let us know on the text lines 4215 how that is going to impact you. For us, we're going to take a break. We're going to be back again after the news headlines, and we'll continue the discussions from there on. You're listening to The Morning Majlis on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
This is Pulse 95, and a very, very warm welcome back onto the program. We're continuing the discussion about the United States, because apart from Mr. Biden speaking up about Venezuela and Myanmar, the former president of the United States also had a say. Former President Donald Trump took advantage of the wide support that he gets amongst the top ranks at the annual Conservative Political Action Conference to set himself as the front runner for the 2024 Republican nomination. It's only been a month since he left office, but in a speech of 1.5 hour long speech.
Yeah.
We get tired after a 3-hour show, but half of it is music, right? This man spoke straight for an hour and a half, and he declared the incredible journey we've begun 4 years ago, and it's far from being over.
Yeah, it's actually his first post-presidency address, and it took place at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Orlando, Florida. And obviously, it included his usual claims and what they call it as lies about the 2020 election. He continued to falsely insist that he was the legitimate winner and continued to falsely insist that the election was rigid. He repeated a bunch of other false claims we regularly heard from him as a president on subjects ranging from trade with China to his stance on the war in Iraq. He also offered up some new false claims about Joe Biden's early days in office. And so much that he discussed in this address.
Definitely, and he definitely went hard on President Joe Biden as well. He said that Biden's policy changes are triggering a, quote, new crisis at the southern border. He said it's creating a youth migrant crisis and touted his own efforts as president in how he expanded the border wall and said Biden is ruining all of that, reversing the Trump administration's accomplishments. Well, in the lead up to this, there's a lot of speculation. Would Trump form his own political party? Would he splinter from the Republican Party as well? And to allay concerns that would happen, Trump said, quote, "We have the Republican Party. It's going to unite and be stronger than ever before." There was a massive applause as soon as he said that. And he also won the straw poll of CPAC attendees when they were asked who they favored as the 2024 GOP presidential candidate. So there is strong interest in Trump, and Trumpism in the United States remains as strong as ever.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of a fact check here. Trump repeated various versions of his usual lie that he won the 2020 election. He said that Democrats just lost the White House, said that it's not possible that he lost, said no after asking the rhetorical question, did Biden win? And also said another election win in the future would be his third. Well, this is false. Trump lost the 2020 election fair and square. Democrat Joe Biden won a 306 to 232 victory in the Electoral College. When it comes to mail-in ballots and dead voters, Trump repeated his attack on mail-in voting and claimed that dead people voted in the election. I mean, tens of millions of ballots, where are they coming from? They're coming from all over the place. That's what he claimed. That dead people are voting. How is that possible? Both those claims are wrong. As we have fact-checked many times before, mail-in voting is not rife with fraud, and there were not tens of millions of ballots that came from unknown origins. When it comes to early morning vote batches, Trump repeated the claim that some vote dumping occurred in the earlier hours of the morning after the election. The fact check here is that there's nothing suspicious or mysterious about large batches of votes being reported late at night or even after election day. And so many other claims that he made, like, for example, in votes in Pennsylvania, he claimed that in Pennsylvania they had hundreds of thousands of more votes than they had people voting. This is false. State officials and fact checkers have repeatedly explained that the claim that Pennsylvania had more votes than registered voters is just not true. Trump may have been relying on an incorrect figure from a Republican state legislator who had relied on incomplete data.
You would get like that, isn't it? I mean, based on how the reaction you're getting around you. Even at the conference, we saw that it featured a statue of Donald Trump painted gold, and the crowd greeting the former president's speech with "We love you and you won." If you have people around you believing in your rhetoric, you eventually completely trust and believe what you're thinking, and that's what's happening over here as well. He said, in just 1 month, we've gone from America first to America last. So really sad to see how a former president, is reacting, and it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen next. But so far, Joe Biden has also been winning the PR campaign. Him and Jill Biden appeared on the cover of People magazine for the first interview as President and First Lady as well.
Well, Trump did one thing during the speech that was quite different from what we're used to. He did call on people to take the COVID-19 vaccines and hoped also that they would help him in his re-election efforts. But he also peppered that with mocking Joe Biden for stumbling during a recent town hall event, and also attacked him over comments Biden made about the limited number of vaccines available when he took office as well. So we certainly will continue seeing former President Donald Trump shape U.S. politics, particularly the Republican Party, as we discuss that in later editions of the program. But up next, we've got the sports headlines. Stay tuned. This is the Morning Majlis.
Pulse 95. Between local lines. Notes from the Emirate.
Notes from the Emirate indeed. Lots of you have been texting in with the responses to our quiz question. And let's reveal the answer of which country have we been referring to all morning?
Well, a big thank you to Jose Felix Martelino, JC from Sharjah, and Abid Riza for getting the answer correct. It is Kenya.
Yay! Let's do it. Woo!
It really is. And the reason why we're talking about Kenya on the program is because a new carrier has now identified Sharjah as its hub for Middle Eastern operations, and it is Astral Aviations, and it received the Guard of Honor, the water cannon, when it arrived at Sharjah International Airport yesterday. It was a spectacle that really caught the attention of many news outlets here in the country.
It was indeed, and basically what happened is that Sharjah Airport Authority it announced that, as you said, Abdul Karim, Astral Aviation, which is a cargo airline based in Nairobi, Kenya, has joined Sharjah Airport to become the first cargo center as part of the expansion of the company's operations in the Middle East region. So basically 2 flights per week will be launched from Nairobi, Kenya to Sharjah using the 767 aircraft. And this should have started from January.
Yeah.
So 2 months ago. But Sharjah Airport was actually chosen due to its strategic location, as well as the services it provides in accordance with the highest international standards, such as handling shipments with which basically require specific temperatures and include food products, in addition to the storage and handling of medicinal and health products. Now, the reception was held for the crew and company headquarters upon the plane landing on the runway of Sharjah Airport, and after crossing the traditional water cannon salute in the presence of Ali Salim Al Midfa, chairman of Sharjah Airport Authority, Sheikh Faisal bin Saud Al Qasimi, director for the authority, and also Mr. Sanjeev Gadia, founder and CEO of Astral Aviation, in addition to a number of employees from both sides.
Certainly, and the Sharjah Airport Authority Chairman Ali Salim Al Midfa said Sharjah Airport continues to attract new airlines and routes, including Astral Aviation, and that cements Sharjah Airport's leading position as an international hub for travel. Agreements such as this, he said, also confirm our commitment to providing the highest international standards and practices for the air cargo sector through specialized warehousing. He said Sharjah Airport's warehousing has obtained CEIV accreditation from the International Air Transport Association, and said he looks forward to employing their full logistical capacities and working with Astral Aviation to ship COVID-19 vaccines from China to the African continent in an efficient and smooth manner. He also spoke on the infrastructure at Sharjah International Airport, described it as advanced, and spoke about the support air freight systems that connect the cargo center to all international destinations, and how they now constitute a qualitative addition, especially since Sharjah Airport has proven its efficiency and ability to quickly respond to cargo operations that need special attention in terms of handling, shipping, and storage.
Yep, and Sanjeev Gadia, the founder and CEO of Astral Aviation, said that they're truly honored to enter into an agreement with the Sharjah Airport, which will become the carrier's Middle Eastern hub, and is third global hub after Kenya and Belgium. And he said that they'll be providing a scheduled service for perishables from East Africa to Sharjah for the UAE region. While on the return, Astral's consolidations from China and UAE will be moved from Sharjah to Nairobi for onward connection to Astral's intra-African network. The introduction of the new freighter service between Kenya and the United Arab Emirates will result in an increase in trade and new opportunities between the private sector with direct connectivity that will benefit both the countries. And of course, it is the storage aspect that continues to be very, very attractive when it comes to what Sharjah Airport's cargo centre has to offer. And we will be talking to you about that in greater details for sure. And we are going to continue the discussions here on the Morning Majlis. Up next, we'll be talking about the Golden Globes, because one particular TV show has gone very, very popular and has won most of the awards. And speaking of that TV show, it did rightly depict that Queen Elizabeth was in fact in Kenya when she was told she's become the Queen.
That's right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting fact for you to know about Kenya. We're celebrating all things Kenya today, and if there's any Kenyan company that would like to send us some tea, they're more than welcome to do so.
Coffee.
Here on the
coffee.
Morning Majlis. Well, stay with us on Pulse 95. Up next is the world of Golden Globes, so stay tuned and send us your thoughts and messages on the text lines 4215.
Entertainment headlines.
Entertainment headlines.
Entertainment headlines.
This is
The Buzz.
This is The Buzz. Who watched the 78th Golden Globes? We probably couldn't watch it because we were asleep.
Kind of like live streaming it here and there during the
Yeah.
show because it was happening. It kicked off this morning, in fact, and kicks off the major award season as well. So sort of a barometer for how
Right.
the Oscars are going to go later on. But I saw a couple big shows and movies that pretty much took the spotlight this time around.
The Crown. I'm so happy because I watched that show. I was binge watching it and addicted to it. It's totally worth it. The acting was on point. Everything was spectacular. It has all elements. Abdul Karim, you watched the show as well. It kind of gathers all the elements of a really good show. It gives you a little bit of a history recap of what happened in England. It gives you a little bit of the personal view on the royal family's inside life,
I think everyone's
behind the scenes.
Yeah, everyone's really interested in the royal family anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're a massive tourist attraction for the United Kingdom. They're a big magnet in terms of the internal gossip, especially when they see, especially after Lady Diana. I'd say after Princess Diana, 1997, back well before that as well, the British royal family got so much attention, especially Prince Charles, and then a divorce in the household of the Windsors. It was massive, huge issue. But now that's been documented in this TV series.
Yeah.
Now, I was very much interested because when I started watching The Crown, it was great at the start. It was nice drama, but it was too focused on the Queen.
And I loved also the etiquette and protocols that take place inside the palace, Buckingham
Yeah.
Palace.
They
And
showed that.
that
Yeah, exactly.
intensively, and I love that because I
Yeah.
wanted to know more. Like, you know,
Fascinating,
how,
yeah.
like, you know how in the beginning it showed you that the prime minister should stay standing
Yep.
when addressing the queen, and then later on became normal. Like they would sit. Remember that
Exactly.
part? Yeah. So the protocols and the etiquette and the rules that go on inside the palace, they're very interesting as well to know. So basically, this series uncovered a lot of elements about the royal family, about the UK in general,
Yeah.
the history. So that's why I give it
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
I'd say the acting as well. I think
The acting is spectacular.
Josh O'Connor, when he plays Prince Charles, that was just an incredible performance, especially the way he slouches, the way he walks. And I've seen Josh O'Connor's interview interviews previously about playing or about the royal family, and he said that he had no interest in the royal family, and he just had to do it because he was casted on this, and he won the Best TV Drama Actor, rightly so. And the way his character shifted from being so in love with Diana, and then the drama towards the end, and him being not so happy about being in that marriage situation, and the way his facial expressions changed, the way he showed his anger and frustration.
I loved who played Prince Philip. I think his name is Tobias Menzies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the way he played Prince Philip. So calm and so confident and laid back. I don't know.
Well, the Crown snagged a lot of awards during the Golden Globes.
4, I believe.
Yeah, so let's go over them. For the Crown itself, just the Crown alone, Gillian Anderson won Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal in The Crown. The Best Television Series Drama category is also The Crown. Looking at Best Actor in a Television Series, Josh O'Connor won for his portrayal in The Crown as well. Emma Corrin won Best Actress in a Television Series in the drama category as well, and Olivia Colman was nominated for that same category. Looking at other awards during the ceremony, we've also had some history in the making. Nomadland has won the Golden Globe for Best Picture Drama, but it made history because its director, Chinese director Chloe Zhao, became the first woman of color to win the Golden Globe Award for directing as well. So that is the top prize, in fact. And she said that Nomad, at its core for me, is a, quote, pilgrimage through grief and healing. So for everyone who's gone through this difficult and beautiful journey at some point in their lives, this is for you. We don't say goodbye, we say see you down the road. Another notable winner at the Golden Globes was the late Chadwick Boseman. He was honored with a Golden Globe for his incredible turn in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and his wife, Taylor Simone Ledward, accepted the award, and it was quite moving. Boseman, if you don't know, died in August at age 43 after fighting a private battle with colon cancer. His wife delivered a moving and heartfelt speech saying Boseman would, quote, thank God, thank his parents, and thank his ancestors for their guidance and their sacrifice.
Yep, of course. It's such a great award ceremony that took place, and virtual as well. And we're really, really glad to see in terms of how the deserving TV shows have won the awards. Olivia Colman, hats off for her, because she's such a legend in the United Kingdom when it comes to TV shows and acting as well. Another TV show that I would highly recommend if you were a fan of Olivia Colman in The Crown, I'd suggest watching Broadchurch. She was very, very good in that as a detective as well, and the way her character changes and shifts as well. So fantastic show to watch. But do send us your thoughts and messages on what you think about the Golden Globe Awards and their nominees.
Yeah, it's another interesting acceptance speech was Sacha Baron Cohen. He won.
I would see that.
Yeah, his Borat won the Golden Globes for Best Comedy or Musical, and he went hot as far as the speech is concerned. He said, quote, thank you to all the all-white Hollywood foreign press. He was pretty much making a shot at the group's lack of diverse members. And he also saluted, quote, co-star Rudy Giuliani. He said, without Rudy Giuliani, who's the famed attorney for former President Donald Trump, he said, quote, this film could not have been possible and would not have turned out to be a comedy genius. So Sacha Baron Cohen is another big name here at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, Rudy Giuliani was in the film.
He was in the film.
I was surprised.
Not in the most pleasing light.
True, and I was really surprised that Giuliani was down for this.
That's what happens with those Borat movies. They interview a lot of politicians and celebrities who, unbeknownst to them, this whole thing is a bit.
Whatever
and that's where the
happened to
comedy
Michael
comes
Moore?
from.
That just reminds me of Michael Moore.
Yeah, good old Michael Moore.
I don't know whatever happened. I don't know. He just came to my mind. Anyway.
Yeah. One of the first ones to win those awards on very topical discussions, isn't it, for documentaries?
Yeah.
But stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We will be moving on very quickly with our discussions this morning. Up next, we are going to be discussing the United Arab Emirates' support when it comes to the vaccine distribution to other parts of the globe. What's happening? Do stay tuned to Pulse 95 and do send us your thoughts and messages on 4215. We'll be back very shortly.
This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
We'll do a little bit of a wrap-up of what's been going on here in Sharjah and also sports. First, in the health sector, the Kuwait Hospital Sharjah of the Ministry of Health and Prevention, MOHAP, received the prestigious Joint Commission International Accreditation, which is considered the gold standard in healthcare worldwide. So with this achievement, MOHAP remains the major contributor to the UAE's global leadership in the number of internationally accredited healthcare facilities. And this recognition is yet another testament to the efficiency of the country's health system and the ministry's success in ensuring business continuity and also providing high-quality health services. And it also demonstrates the ministry's balanced management of challenges and risks through proactive planning to achieve the appropriate response. Of course, thanks to the availability of the sophisticated infrastructure and also state-of-the-art medical technology that we have here in the UAE.
Yep, of course. Another couple of big stories that we'll be looking at as we conclude the show right now is the world of sports. Yesterday we had a very thrilling is the last word that would come to this encounter. It was a goalless draw between Manchester United and Chelsea. A very heated contest, you would expect, given the importance of points for both the sides. Man United wants to bag most of the points to narrow the gap with the league leaders Manchester City, and Chelsea wanted those points to be in the top four, but sadly missed out yesterday. And Man United had a slight chance of getting through, but then their appeal for a handball was turned down, or appeal for a penalty as a result of a supposed handball against Callum Hudson-Odoi, and that was turned down. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side remained in the second place as a result of that encounter. But very interesting to see how the league table is panning out. Arsenal remains in the top 10 now, at the bottom end of the top 10. Leeds is now at 11 with 26 points. And the only team that matters in the world of Premier League is still 17th. Newcastle at 26 points.
Yeah.
Not cool.
No, not cool at all. United are in second place after that game, after Leicester City lost to Arsenal. Chelsea at fifth place, 1 point behind West Ham in fourth. What's interesting now is Liverpool also had a win, finally. They broke a losing streak of 4 straight Premier League games. Their season had imploded in recent weeks, but now they're eyeing a higher position now ahead of their game against Chelsea on Friday. That's going to be a big game to watch for sure.
For sure, indeed, and we've also been seeing how the world of cricket has been picking up in popularity. Tom Moody, upgraded from being a coach of Sri Lankan cricket team, now becomes the director of Sri Lanka cricket. And looking at local leagues, it was the Pakistan Super League's big thrilling encounter between rivals Karachi versus Lahore. The game was firmly in the hands of Karachi until David Wisa stole the game and gave Lahore that very important victory in that encounter. So it was a very thrilling contest that everyone had been commenting and sharing their thoughts on social media about. But yeah, if you're a bit of a cricket fan and a bit of a T20 cricket fan, watching the Pakistan Super League, which is now finally available on TV networks on Etisalat and Do after a bit of a pause of a week. It's something that people will be really excited about. If you'd like to share your thoughts and opinions on those games, also do drop us a text on 4215. For the time being, Morning Majlis will now stretch its arms and legs after being sat in the studio for 3 hours, keeping you entertained. Where can we catch most of these discussions?
We could catch them on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Just type in Morning Majlis in the search bar. You could also watch our recorded discussions on YouTube at Pulse 95 Radio. Make sure you like, subscribe our videos, and also check out our daily live stream of Pulse 95 content and programming. Thank you all for tuning in, and stay tuned to Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of The Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.